Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to LK's anatomy classes. Today we are going to discuss about the clavicle. We go through the contents, introduction, parts of clavicle, side determination, peculiarities, shaft, muscle attachments, applied anatomy of clavicle. Introduction. Clavicle is also called as collarbone or beauty bone. It supports the shoulder so that arm can swing clearly away from the trunk. Clavicle transmits the weight of the limb to sternum. Parts of the clavicle. Clavicle is divided into three parts: two ends and shaft, medial end and lateral end. Shaft is cylindrical. Side determination of the clavicle. The lateral end is flat and the medial end is large and quadrilateral. In the diagram you can see here, lateral end is flat. It can appear flat. While you see medial end, it is quadrilateral in the quadrilateral shape and it's very large. Shaft is slightly curved, that it is convex forwards in medial two-thirds and concave forwards in lateral one-third. In the diagram you can see here, the shaft is slightly curved like this. Here it is convex forward in its medial two-thirds convex forwards and lateral one-third concave forwards. The inferior surface is grooved longitudinally in its middle one-third. Here you can see it is grooved, which provides attachment for subclavius muscle. When we go through the peculiarities of the clavicle, it is the only long bone that lies horizontally. It is subcutaneous throat. We can feel it by the palpation. It is the first bone to start ossifying. It is the only long bone which ossifies in membrane except the medial end which ossifies in cartilage. It is only long bone which has two primary centers of ossification. In the diagram you can see here two centers in the shaft region for ossification. There is no medullary cavity. See here, it is free, no medullary cavity. It is occasionally pierced by supraclavicular nerve. It receives weight of upper limb via lateral one-third through coracoclavicular ligament and transmits weight of upper limb to the axial septum via medial two-third. Shaft. Shaft is divided into lateral one-third, medial two-third. Lateral one-third flattened above downwards. See in the diagram, it is flattened above and downwards. It has two borders. Anterior border, it is concave forward. This is the anterior border, and posterior border convex forward. Here the posterior border you can see backward. It has two surfaces: superior surface which is subcutaneous, you can feel the by palpation. Inferior, which bears conate tubercle and trapezoid ridge. Medial two-third shaft is rounded and it has four surfaces. Anterior surface convex forwards. See you can hear convex forwards. Posterior surface smooth. On the bottom it is very smooth. Superior surface rough in its medial part. Inferior surface rough oval impression at the medial end. Lateral half of the surface has a longitudinal subclavian groove. Sorry for the mistake spelling. Inferior surface of medial one-third, two-third has a subclavian groove. The nutrient foramen lies at the lateral end of the groove. Clavicle ends lateral or acromial, medial or sternal. When we go through the lateral end, which is flattened above and downwards, it bears a facet that articulates with acromial process of scapula to form acromial joint. Medial end or sternal end. It is quadrangular and articulates with the clavicular notch of a manubrium sterni to form the sternoclavicular joint. The articular surface extends to inferior aspect for articulation with first costal cartilage. In the diagram, you can see the blue color which appears is clavicle, and the red color one articular disc which articulates with inferior aspect with first costal cartilage. Lateral one third of shaft. The anterior border gives origin to the deltoid. In the above diagram, you can see here the blue color, the red color one anterior border gives origin to the deltoid muscle. The posterior border provides incision to the trapezius. Here you can see top. It provides incision to the trapezius. The conar tubercle and trapezoid ridge give attachment to the conar and trapezoid parts of the coracoclavicular ligament. In this diagram, you can see a trapezoid port and conoid port, which provides attachment to the conoid tubercle and trapezoid port of coracoclavicular ligament. Medial two-thirds of the shaft. Most of the anterior surface gives origin to the pectoralis major. Here you can see the pectoralis major. Half of the rough superior surface gives origin to the clavicular head of sternocleidomastoid. In the green color shows here sternocleidomastoid. The oval impression on the inferior surface at the medial end gives attachment to the costoclavicular ligament. See here, green color one gives origin to costoclavicular ligament. The subclavian groove gives insertion to the subclavian muscle. Here you can see the light blue in color which gives origin to the subclavius muscle. The margins of the groove give attachment to clavipectoral fascia. In this diagram you can see here is the subclavian groove which gives attachment to subclavius muscle, and margin of this groove gives attachment to clavipectoral fascia. The posterior surface close to the medial end gives origin to sternocleidomastoid muscle. You can see in this following diagram sternocleidomastoid muscle here. When we go through the applied anatomy of clavicle, clavicle is commonly fractured by falling on the outstretched hand. The most common site of the fracture is junction between the two curvatures of the bone, which is weakest point because lateral one third and medial two third are joining here, and this is the two curvatures. Lateral fragment is displaced downwards when you fall on outstretched hand by the weight of the limb. Trapezius muscle alone is unable to support the weight of the upper limb. Clavicles may be congenitally absent or imperfectly developed in the disease called cleidocranial dystosis. In the following diagram, you can see that there are no clavicles or poor development may be occurs. In this condition, shoulder drop and can be approximated anteriorly in front of the chest. Thank you. Like, share and subscribe LKS Anatomy.